You know that feeling of drifting away from your purpose? You know exactly what you want to accomplish in life. You know the heights that you want to hit. You know exactly who you want to be, what you want to become. But for some reason, when your mind is not directly on it, it almost flutters into the wind. And you have to go into this cycle of setting your goals, writing out your intention, doing all of the deep work, and you feel good when you do all of this, but then it happens again. You kind of fall, you crash and burn, hit rock bottom, and you have to set your goals and your intentions again. And each time it's like the same goals and the same intentions, but a different rendition of them. Yo, we've all been there. And this is a problem that a lot of people face because there's so many distractions in life. There's so many different devils. And that's why I still read the book to this day, Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, because he understood well before today's time that distractions are the cause and peril of man's dreams. Our dreams don't see the light of day because we can't stay aligned for long enough to make them come into fruition. Nowadays, we have our cell phones, we have social media, we have other people, maybe our job. There's so many ways, so many outlets for us to get distracted and to have our attention and energy pulled in multiple different directions. And the reason that I love this book so much is because he's able to extract principles that we live by, that we can live by in order to not fall victim to the devil, these distractions. And in this video, I'm going to speak about a couple of those principles and tell you my biggest takeaway from the book. That way you can apply it into your life and build a level of consistency that you can be proud of. Because you see, it's not about the goal. It's not about achieving anything, right? Let's say your goal is to, generate X amount of income. Once you've generated that amount of income, you have to set another goal. It's a means to an end, right? Goals are always a means to an end because once you accomplish the goal, the only thing left to do is to set a new one and to restart the clock. But when we shift the focus to the person that we're becoming in the process of achieving these goals, that's lifelong. That's an actual journey that's, worth measuring and worth paying attention to because, who you are is going to outlive the goals and the results and the byproducts of who you are, right? Who you are is going to outlive it. That is what you take to the grave. You can't take any goal, any accomplishment to the grave with you because they don't matter. What people remember is they remember that you were a kind, loving, persevering, confident person. They don't remember that, oh, you made $30,000 in 24 hours. They don't really give a damn about that. We care about who you are internally. But the world that we live in has forced us to place all of our attention on external validation. And external validation is it's absolutely gross. It pulls us away from principle number one in this book, and that's definiteness of purpose. You see, definiteness of purpose means that we know who we want to be, right? There's three parts to a goal. There's the goal itself, that's having. There's your to-do list. So this is what you have to do to get to the goal. And last but not least, and most importantly, it's who you have to become. Now, when we're pulled away from our purpose, right, we only focus on the surface level of the goal. We look at the goal and say, okay, I want that goal. I want to achieve that. I want to reach to this new height. So I'm going to do these things. And we forget the person that we have to be. So maybe we wake up in the morning and we are on a completely opposite frequency where we're not even thinking, we're not even spiritually aligned with the goal that we want to accomplish, but we're attacking our to-do list like there's no tomorrow. And it's pointless, right? Because, if you're not spiritually aligned with the actions that you're taking, you may as well not take any actions at all. You may as well sit there and work on your spirit because, you can go so far in the wrong direction. It's like a plane. They say that if a plane is going from LA to New York and it's like 3 degrees off course, you're going to end up in Florida, right? Because the wrong set of actions maintained consistently are going to get you so far off track. So before you put all of your eggs into the basket of taking massive action, why don't you put your eggs into the basket of becoming who you need to be every moment of every single day. Principle number 2 from the book that I've pulled is mastery over self. And this is self-discipline. This is acknowledging like, okay, I know that in order to accomplish my goals, I need to be a very organized person, a disciplined person, someone that understands that I'm going to go through turmoil, ups and downs, and none of that really matters. What matters mostly is who I need to be, right? But it takes discipline in order to embody and to live that state of mind and to live at that frequency, because you have habits. Like any other human beings, we all have habits. We all have things that we like to indulge in. Maybe you like to smoke a little herb. Maybe you like to sip on a little yak during the weekend. Maybe you like TV. You like to watch Netflix and Amazon Prime. I'm guilty too. I have habits. But what's important is that we discipline our self-control. We discipline ourselves when it's necessary. And it's okay for us to be human and to let our hair down. Just make sure that it's not coming at the compromise of the person you need to be in order to achieve your goal, right? You discipline your leisure and you discipline your discipline. Principle number 3 from the book that I'll never forget is learning from adversity. And this is one of those things that, people make the same mistakes time and time again, and they wonder, what the fuck just happened to me, right? They continue to make these mistakes in life because they're no longer learning from them. And the main mistake that I see people make, and I've made personally in my life, is not having a plan for myself, not having a system that I'm following. Waking up in the morning and just winging it. Winging it and being a free spirit is probably the worst thing that we can be, especially in the year 2025. Being a free spirit means that you leave intention up to the gods and you relinquish control over your own life and you give it to who has it. I don't even know. What happens when you give away your intention and your definiteness of purpose and you give that power away? You have to take the result and smile regardless, which means that you can run into a brick wall because you haven't learned from the adversity. You haven't learned from making these mistakes and you haven't made the adjustments necessary. So you have to take the results that you're getting and you have to say thank you. You have to, right? Because what else are you going to do? You haven't changed anything. You haven't learned from your adversity, right? So you have to accept the good and the bad results of your life. You must, right? So if you're going to give away the control, accept the result. And that's what a lot of people do. And it's easy to do that. It's easy for them to just give away control because they would much rather not work in the moment and deal with the consequences later. If you ever have to take, path A or path B, and path A is the path that nobody wants to go down, always take the harder path because it's not about the goal. The people that take path B may get to the goal, and guess what? They may not sustain it, because that's a whole nother ball game, is sustaining everything that you get in life. That's a whole nother ball game. But you see, when you begin to take the road less traveled and you begin to discipline yourself up front, understanding principles like delayed gratification and so on and so forth, once you do achieve the goals and you make it to the quote unquote top of the mountain, you're much more prepared and spiritually aligned, and you're able to do a whole lot more with that. So all in all, man, my key takeaway from this book is that you have to be able to not only recognize the devil in your life, but you have to confront the devil in your life. And whatever that may be. My devils are different than your devils, but they're all rooted in the exact same thing. Why? Because they attack our dreams. They attack our vision. You have to acknowledge that there is a constant pull. There is a constant force that is attacking the vision that you want for yourself. It's a coin, and there's two different sides to the coin. You have to acknowledge the dark side of the coin, and you have to confront it. You have to say, okay, I had a really rough day yesterday. Or maybe I'm hungover from going out last night, and all I want to do is just lay down, and not today. That's the devil speaking for you. And it's not to say that you have to be on at all times. It's just to say that you need to be intentional with your life, and you call the shots in your life. And keep in mind that you call the shots in your life. When you recognize and confront the devil, you tell yourself, you tell your soul and your spirit how you're going to walk through this valley. This is what's going to happen next, and this is how I'm doing it. You don't leave anything up to chance, because when you leave it up to chance, you have to accept the backlash and the result that comes from it. This book is life-changing. This book is life-changing. And what it's going to do for you mentally and spiritually is it's going to allow you to take back control of your power. And when you take control of your power, you understand that it's not about the achievement of any goals. It's about who you are on a moment-to-moment basis. Because we have to recalibrate and realign ourselves moment to moment. Maybe you feel great this morning, but by 1 o'clock, you feel absolutely terrible. It's time for recalibration. There are open slots in my Lionheart transformation program. This program is meant to help you to recalibrate your mind, body, and soul. And we do it through avenues such as fitness, such as nutrition, monthly assessments, weekly check-ins, and even a book club. The best way to go from here to here is to align yourself with people who are equally yoked with you and who are not only going to hold themselves accountable, but double check and make sure that you're holding yourself accountable. Click the link below and set up a one-on-one call. This training program is not for everybody, and I'll be the first to tell you that. That one-on-one call is an opportunity for us to get to know one another personally, for me to actually see where you are, to see where you want to get to, and to see if I can actually be of service to you. This program is for you. It's not directly for me. So go ahead, click that link, set up your call, and I look forward to speaking with you. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'm going to catch you in the next video.